All right, welcome back, everyone. That does it for our coverage there of Save Temecula and their fight against the Golden Pacific Power Link, as well as SDG&E side. I'd be remiss to say again, I believe it's tomorrow. Temecula is having a sort of a status update. This is something they're going to be doing periodically until SDG&E does go through with the CPUC and the approval process there on the power link. So we will continue to cover this story as we move forward. But we're going to switch gears here. If you've walked through Little Italy lately, you may have noticed something. There is a space that sat empty for months that used to be filled, lively, had people, it had food, it had music. Well, a new food hall is hoping to bring fresh flavors and new energy to the neighborhood. News 8's Alex Lai shows us the new space.
The fountain, farmers market, and lots of foot traffic are key parts of Little Italy's Piazza della Famiglia. And now, after more than a year of sitting vacant, a new food hall called Global Fork. Let's take a look inside. From lobster rolls to an outdoor bar to an ice cream cart, Global Fork is bringing a mix of new flavors to Little Italy's Central Plaza. The former Little Italy food hall closed abruptly in February of last year after nearly 7 years in business. The previous owner told me they were passing the space over to the landlord to be put up for lease.
To get like a variety, all like in the center of where everything is, it's a good idea.
Global Fork opened just 2 weeks ago, and visitors are already stopping in to see what's new.
See this place like finished and come to life, it's pretty cool.
The food hall features 7 food concepts,
Right here, Cosmos.
including Cosmos Burger, Seattle's acclaimed Moto Pizza, Lobster Lab, health food restaurant La Vida, Thai-style kitchen, Handles Ice Cream, plus a full-service cocktail bar. Global Fork is owned by San Diego-based Tiger Hospitality, the company behind several other food halls, including Windmill in Carlsbad.
It's nice to have a place where you can get kind of that multiple cuisines, multiple ways to dine in an area. It kind of really rounds out the piazza.
COO Jim Krieger says it's the variety and attention to detail that sets Global Fork apart.
We wanted it to really be a little bit elevated, kind of from what the previous one. So moving the bar from the interior to the exterior, having those gorgeous views while you sit and you have your Aperol Spritz or a nice draft.
And for the musicians who perform here, the new food hall is helping bring the plaza back to life.
Celebrating in Little Italy.
Steve Ante has played music in the Piazza for years. He says when the food hall closed, so did much of the energy.
Everybody left. This plaza did not have all the people that they have now. Back then, it was incredible. Then it went to sleep, and hopefully now it's going to open up and people will come back.
Now with Global Fork open, the Piazza is once again filled with food, music, and people. Alex Lai, News 8.
All right, back in the studio here, and you'll see Alex Lai. I love the quote that you got there where it's like, could you just imagine, again, Saturday morning, Aperol Spritz, grab a little this, grab a little that. It sounds like a dream, Alex.
And it was funny that he said that in the interview, and then I found so many people enjoying
Aperol Spritzes. Yeah,
I was like, let me give it. Okay, so I'm including that quote because this is true.
Yeah.
It was so cool to be out there. Honestly, when the last food hall abruptly closed, we went out and tried to kind of do a story on it.
Yeah.
But employees told me they had 2 days notice just that the food hall was closing. And that was, that's their job,
Yeah.
So they're like, what are we supposed to do? A lot of those places are only at farmers markets or kind of small places like that. So it was a big news for a lot of people. And we were just talking, like the food hall was kind of a nice option if you're out in Little Italy and you don't want to sit down in a nice restaurant, or we'd go to Salt and Straw, and if the line was like way too long, we'd go to the gelato place inside of there. So It's been closed since last February, which is quite a while.
Yeah.
So when it reopened as this new concept, obviously it's still a food hall, so it's keeping like that concept. But the COO I talked to, Jim, said, this is more of like an elevated feel. There's less options than the last one. I think there were 9 in the last one. There's 7 here. But there's an outdoor bar. They really try to give that, kind of like Little Italy hotelish almost feel with like the green velvet, and really redid a lot of the things. And so many people were just coming in to check it out. People were taking pictures, just commenting on oh, like this is new. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on here? Like, what's this? Even just like kind of taking a look around.
And if my memory serves me correctly, the thing about the last Little Italy food hall that was that made it sort of itself was the fact that it really tried to highlight like local area flavors. It was an Italian food hall. This one is offering. We're kind of looking through here. This has got not only a number of different like San Diego staples, but also like Moto Pizza, which is like Detroit style pizza and so forth like that. It's different cuisines, but also just sort of from different areas as well too.
Yeah, totally. And actually, a few of them, I think Lobster Lab,
Yeah.
La Vida, some of those restaurants are owned by Tiger Hospitality,
Okay,
and those
yeah.
are kind of their staples. So if you go to the Windmill in Carlsbad, they're going to
okay.
have those same ones. And actually, they're opening up a Lobster Lab, which had those delicious looking lobster rolls.
Yeah.
That was like, if I'm going there, I think that's going to be my choice
Yeah.
because they looked amazing. And he said there's like lobster mac and cheese. And I was like, oh, okay, you got me.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Hook,
they're
line,
opening
sinker.
up an actual establishment, Lobster Lab, like standalone in Del
Okay.
Mar, I think like near the Sky Deck. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool. But they are kind of expanding some of those concepts. They call them concepts that they own. And then, for example, I think the Thai place is kind of its own entity, its own local business that,
Right.
you know, is kind of like renting out the space, if you will. But this whole food hall concept is like really getting popular. Like I said, they have one in Carlsbad, they have one in San Clemente, and then they're opening one up at UCSD soon.
Oh, wow.
So that's
Okay.
pretty cool. Yeah, like to have that kind of variety and
Yeah.
like this elevated food hall, like how cool if you're going to college there. So,
Yeah, right.
it's
Yeah,
kinda
spend
like a
spend even
new-
more
new
money.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I did notice you were there during the farmers market. So I mean,
Yes.
for those who are at home who are watching this and they want to make it to the food hall, just how busy was it on a day where the farmers market is already offering? You know, obviously people go there for the staples, flowers. They'll go there for their produce and so forth. But they also will sometimes grab like that quick bite to eat from some of the stands that are there. So tell me, I was it super busy? Like, and I don't mean that as a negative, but just
No,
I
of
think
course,
it's
yeah.
important for people to know like Saturdays might be a little
Yeah.
chaotic, right?
So obviously just walking outside, I was kind of like, okay, like trying to
Yeah.
just like get in with the crowd. I'm like, guys, I'm just gonna tripod in the corner. But inside the food hall, honestly, it was more people just like going in and kind of like looking around, like no lines really.
Yeah.
There'd be like kind of like crowds that would make their way through and then exit. It wasn't like super, super packed. And the CEO was saying, you know, right now more people are just coming by to kind of check it out. And also, if you're not familiar with the area, like let's say you went a couple years ago, you're like, oh yeah, there's a food hall. Like the food hall was there
Yeah.
a couple years ago. It's like it's, you know, a whole different concept
Yeah.
for people who don't go to the area a lot or tourists. So honestly, a lot of people are checking it out, but he was telling me that people are kind of just like getting familiar and like realizing that they're there now, kind of scoping it out like, oh, there's a Thai place, like maybe I'll come back next
Yeah.
week for Thai. So honestly, it wasn't too busy. It was mostly just people kind of checking it out. Like you said, there are so many options at
Yeah.
the farmers market that there were a lot of people sitting at the fountain, which is just like the iconic spot
Yeah.
to sit.
I
So a
know.
lot of people were sitting outside. And then the outdoor bar was so cool because people were just having a beer, having
Yeah.
an Aperol spritz, kind of hanging out there. So I'd say that part was a little bit busier.
And we did have some fantastic weather to sort of enjoy. It was a little warm, a little humid, but
It was, it was
yeah.
quite warm out there. But yeah, it was nice.
when the glass is sweating, I feel like then you don't really realize that you're sweating, right? Because it's got a cold glass, whether it's a beer, it's an Aperol spritz, it's a good time. Alex, always a good time to have you here in
Thank you for
studio.
having me.
Thank you for breaking us down, and definitely going to check out the newest food hall here in Little Italy.